Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Kelly. This is A Life Well Spent. And on this channel, I document my financial journey. I do a number of different types of videos from like budgeting. I did some debt payoff stuff while I was paying off debt. I'm now consumer debt free. Sorry, I have my like windows and doors open. I'm going to have to shut some of them soon because I think there's a storm coming and it just sounded really weird outside. Anyway, um, I am consumer debt free. I paid off all my debt, which included like credit cards and personal loans, student loans, things like that. Which I guess I should say the personal loan I did to sort of give me like a lower rate than my credit card, so it was more of like an attempt at like some consolidation and saving me a little bit of money in interest. So other than that, it was just like credit cards and personal loan. But yeah, we talk about money and how to maximize our money, spend it well, and spend our lives well. So, this video is a video that I admittedly don't do enough. My goal is to do it weekly. If you've watched some of my other videos from like the end of June and beginning of July, like my monthly budget videos where I close out June, where I give you July's budget, things like that. You'll know that I wasn't home. My niece was visiting, and we just all stayed at my mom's basically. And there just wasn't really any time or privacy to film anything. The second I start filming, my niece would be all up in my business trying to get on camera. So, which like, I mean, I don't have a problem with that. That kind of came out like I had a problem with it, but I don't. But her mother did not give permission, and so it's not like just something I didn't even want to do. So I just kind of avoided it. Didn't bother doing it until after she went back home. So anyway, doing a lot of catch up on that, and this is a weekly transaction video, and it is July 24th. So it's basically I'm gonna do one for like 3 weeks at a time rather than spit out like three videos. So, yeah, we'll get into it. Okay, so we can get into it right now. Just so that everyone is aware, the reason I do this is because I used to track my expenses on things that I would struggle with overspending on in cash, or I would track because by using cash, right? So I would go to the bank at the beginning of the month, like on the first day of the month, usually, unless first day was like Sunday and or a holiday and the bank was closed. I would go and I would withdraw like whatever amount. It was usually around $450. And I mean, seriously, it would be, I would give them a list of like, I wanted like X, number of 20s, X number of fives, what have you. And I would literally just be like, okay, here's, 25 for week one of groceries. Here's 25 for week two of groceries. Here's 25 for week. Remember those days? $25 a week for groceries. How fun. Um, yeah, yeah, I spent about $100 a month on groceries. I used to. Now, caveat with that, my parents and I would kind of bulk order meat products. So, especially beef, like we shared like a side of cow, we would bulk order like chicken and stuff like that. So, that $25 was literally just like the staples and stuff. So, anyway, it wasn't like I was only spending $100 a month on food. Obviously, if I calculated out the beef and chicken and things like that, it would be a little bit different, but anyway, um, so that made it really easy, right? If I gave myself $40 for eating out and for restaurants, which again, $40, that's like half a meal these days. Um, there it was, 2 20s went in there. I put like a certain amount in for my dogs to care for this, whatever, and if I didn't spend it, I didn't spend it, fine, it carried over to the next month. But if I spent it, that was it, right? Like, and it was really easy to look at and go, well, I only have $15 left in my restaurant budget because I only have $15. So that's all I can do. It was really, really easy. And then COVID hit, and the last thing anybody wants to do is go into places and carry cash and all of that. And I don't know how well the microphone picks up, but some really nasty sounding thunder. And I'm actually curious at this point if the lights are going to go out because they were flickering this morning in a bit of a, I don't even think it was a thunderstorm this morning. It was definitely a rainstorm. It was heavy rain, but I don't really recall like lightning, thunder, anything like that. But I do know that the lights were flickering a few times, but like not enough to cancel out. And I, was like, maybe it's just me. I get it's probably just me. Nothing flickered. No, like clocks were off. Well, I guess nothing flickered off, but it felt like it was flickering. And then I got to work. I was at a meeting in a completely different town, and it happened again like two or three times. And I'm going, okay, oh my god, it is me, because this was now in two locations. I'm feeling this, And then everybody else kind of went, wait, did the lights just flicker? And I thought, okay, thank God, it isn't me. I was like, am I having a seizure? Like, what is happening? Anyway, sorry if you can hear that when it rolls through, and sorry if the lights go out, although that would be probably kind of funny. Um, anyway, when COVID hit, it got really hard to figure out. It's a really loud train. I'm really hoping this microphone doesn't pick it up. We'll see, I guess. If you hear it, that's what it is, and if you don't, then I just sound like I'm crazy. Anyway, transactions. Once COVID hit, and I wasn't really paying cash for anything anymore. I wasn't doing any kind of grocery pickup. I don't like people touching my food. So I wasn't doing that with groceries, but with other things, like I wasn't going in a store to buy the thing, right? I was getting it delivered, or I was getting it like brought out to my car, and that meant I was paying like on an app or on a phone, or with a card, like a debit card or a credit card or whatever. And it was a lot harder to keep track of everything. So I had to kind of really commit to doing like a weekly review of my expenses. So I chart it weekly. I actually chart it probably every couple of days, but because I just like doing it pretty much. I commit to doing it weekly, but I end up doing it more than weekly. So anyway, that's what these videos are about. Usually it's once a week. Once I hit like, the 8th of the month or something, I go through and I go through the first 7 days. I just wasn't really able to because of where I was. So with that in mind, here are my expenditures from July 1st to, I'm actually not sure if there are any after. Yeah, there's one from the 23rd, but whoo, oh, y'all know when like a thunderstorm comes in and the temperature drops like 40 degrees and the air feels really cool? Like I just got like this gust of wind that, whoo, like I'm okay with it. It's like 85 today. Anyway, okay, mortgage 688.77. That is my mortgage, interest, premium, premium, principal, interest, insurance, taxes. I get PMI taxes and insurance all kind of escrowed. Mine mortgage is actually going to go down because PMI is over. Yay! It's very exciting. Very, very exciting. So it's going to drop by like 40. I think it's going to be like 648, maybe something. I just got the letter. Do you think I took it upstairs and brought it to my. Ooh, wait. Ta-da! I have it. Let me see. 648.67 is my new estimated monthly payment. I feel like it wasn't 67 cents. So we'll see. It was 648 something, but I feel like for some reason I was thinking it was like 648.88. I just got a different letter in the mail that was like a confirmed, here's what your payments are going to be. Because they first had to send me an escrow statement, and my escrow was short. So I had to either pay it, or they could pay the difference. They could give me the difference, added onto my payment, and just do it that way. And I just pay it because I'd prefer to just pay it and not think about it. So anyway, that's that. That's the gold mortgage. And for the record, I actually have my bill set up so that I pay all of my bills within the first week of the month. I prefer it this way. I did that by saving up some extra money in my checking account. So I start every month with a month's worth of income, and then basically I pay everything out. My income just replaces what was there. So I don't have to think about it. I don't have to worry about it. It's a very set it and forget it kind of way, because I just cannot be bothered to sit there and wait like, oh, No, I gotta wait to pay the electric bill until I get paid on Friday. Like I cannot play that game. I don't want to do it. So anyway, gas 26.46. I don't really use much of it. I mean that I'm occasionally cooking something, and I'm betting most of that is just like a minimum usage required. That's probably like keeping the pilot light lit or something. Sewer $63. That's a flat rate. Water 18.98. That is sort of a flat rate. I rarely go over. There's like a minimum amount. There's a payment for a minimum amount of usage, and I rarely go over it. So I sort of consider it a flat rate. Now I think I might for August. I think I might go over it because I've been watering plants and things like that. So I would not be surprised if it went over. But I've said this in other videos. I honestly have no concept of how much water I'm using. It's just not like if I take a 5-minute shower, I'm not like, well, okay, that was 12 gallons. I just no sense of it whatsoever. Internet $58. That's a flat rate. Fidelity 500. That goes to my Roth IRA. I put $70.83 into my like a taxable brokerage for me. I put $100 into a taxable brokerage for my niece. That's 50 from me, 50 from my mother, and that's part of what I got in was $50. That's my mom's share. My mom sends me $40 for some of the shared subscription services that we share. They're not all streaming. We're actually cutting down on all of our streaming services. Like we used to pay just kind of for the year because it was cheaper. And so like we've cut a few of them off. I don't think we could pay up front for the year for Netflix, but we did for like Amazon, we did for Hulu, we did for Paramount Plus, and we've actually gotten rid of all of those. So kind of excited about that. Let me see. YMCA 41.85. And I think I actually ended up paying more. I think I had to put more money into that because it went up or it went up next month. I forget what month it was going up. And I think maybe it's for August that it went up, but not positive. But yeah, they upped their prices. Surprise, $35. That's my mom's share of the cell phone that we pay. She's on my plan. That's her portion. Nitty Lion Club. I also do all of my my must pay transfers on the first of the month. So I put money to Nitty Lion Club. Or an account for my Nitty Lion Club membership, and then I just pay that every January. So $17 a month goes in. Subscriptions right now I have my subscription set at $155, and I probably don't need that amount, but I'm not entirely positive yet because we keep canceling things. So in my mind I'm like, "Meh," and things keep going up, so I will probably reevaluate that in December when I make my January or my 2025 yearly plan in December. So that in January, those numbers will be adjusted accordingly. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near that because what we're going to do from now on is kind of cycle through different stuff, right? So, like if something comes up on Netflix that we're excited to see, we'll do Netflix for a year. And, oh, my mother just texted me. She's getting a really bad storm too. Hang on. Lightning has been detected. Do you think? Do you think? Oh my lord. Okay. And then car insurance, $59 a month. I pay that out every 6 months. $2.99 for my Apple. It's an Apple subscription. It's for like iCloud and stuff like that. Xfinity Mobile, that was really expensive this month, $88.87. The biggest reason for that is because all of the travel that my mom and I were doing. That particular bill, the cycle ends on July 5th. So the end of June and the first week of July, we did a lot of travel that required us to like hop on the internet and look up information, right? I went to Montreal, which is out of the country. And because it's out of the country, I had to have, a foreign plan. And it was like, I don't know, it was like $5 a day or $10 a day, something like that. Ooh, now it's pouring. I got paid. This is the first pay of our new contract. I guess it's not a new contract. It's just a new year of the contract. I work in a school, and government budgets basically work from like July 1 to June 30th. So when July 1 hits, we're in a new year. And so for me, it makes for a new year of service. And so if there's going to be a raise that happens, it will happen in that first July pay. I'll know exactly what I'm going to make. So my take home is now going to be 1890.75, which is kind of great. I got a 4% raise, I think. So that's exciting. And yeah, wasn't really sure, if you remember from my budget videos, I wasn't really sure what really to expect, because I never know when I look at, like, 7.5% automatically has to go to the pension, and then taxes and all of that kind of stuff. So like, I never really know how that's going to shake out. I feel like it's impossible for me to calculate. I'm never right. So I don't know. I clearly don't know how to do it correctly, because I can't ever calculate it properly. And at this point, I'm just like, well, whatever. This is what my guess is. And I always try to like guess low. So I think I went into the month trying to budget for like $3,600 or $3,700 maybe. And no, maybe I did 36. Anyway, here we go. Water. I had to do 440 more in water because I underguessed. Yeah, I definitely underestimated how much I was going to spend in water, because I, again, don't have any concept of it. I was watering things. I was, washing things off, power washing my house, my porch, things like that. So there we go, an extra $4.40 there. I went to the National Aquarium. That's one of the things that we did with my niece. So I spent $49.95 on the entry, and then I bought tickets for the 4D experience and for the virtual reality thing, sort of ride, whatever they have, for myself and my mom and my niece. So 6 total tickets for $40, which I didn't think was too awful terrible, but she had fun. She had never experienced either of those things before. Now, I had done some VR stuff because I work in education and I work in educational technologies. So yeah, that's not new to me, but it was new to the two of them. And I'd never done a 4D movie, so that was kind of cool. Walmart, I spent 160.89. I got some stuff for me, I got some stuff for my mom, and I have now realized that she's going to reimburse me for the stuff she bought, and I don't think she has yet. So this is why we keep track of this stuff in here, because, and I got to figure out where. You'd think I'd have kept that receipt then, but I'm not quite sure where it is. All right, bicycle shop. I bought some biking gloves, and I got these things that kind of when my niece came to visit, we had her bring her bike, and we hooked it up to the back of the car, and it's on the outside of the car, and she has like these cute little tassels, and we didn't really think about the fact that those tassels would get ripped to shreds on the drive back. So I found some tassels at the bike shop, and I was like, here you go, we're gonna replace these. Sorry. So that's what the gloves and the tassels. All right, giving fund. I put $50 into my giving fund. I put $10.60 back into my gift fund, so that would top that off to $600, which is where I like to keep it. Giving fund, I took a huge chunk out of probably half of my giving fund to get some stuff around to do Trail Magic in June. And at this point, I'm just kind of slowly but surely putting $50 back. I put $100 in my travel fund, and then I put $549.66 in my travel fund. Yeah, I basically had money somewhere that I'm not entirely sure where it came from. Or I shouldn't say that. I am not entirely sure. I think I did not appropriately allocate it in my budget before, but I went through the process in June of getting all of my money over into my high yield savings account. And once I got everything into the savings account and like allocated the amount of money that my budget said I had in each of those buckets, um I had like leftover money in my savings account. Like, I don't know how to explain it. So I have my one normal bank account, and then my high yield savings account that had all of the savings buckets. So I was transferring money over, and I realized, like, but I had like I basically like totaled up my everything in those sinking funds and in my emergency fund and was like, okay, all of that's going to go over to the high yield savings account and then I'll allocate it in all those buckets. So once I did that, I looked at my first account and was like, I still have extra money. Like what? So I think what may have happened was when I got to the end of the month and I because I start the month with my month's worth of income. So let's say I say, "Oh, I'm gonna start with $3,600." When I get to the end of the month and I'm under budget with things, because a lot of times I am, and let's say I have 400 extra dollars that I didn't spend, that I budgeted to be able to spend but didn't. I get to the end of the month and I have those $400. I usually then just ship it over to my savings and I allocate it somewhere on my budget spreadsheet. And I'm the only thing I can think of is that I just somehow missed it. I didn't allocate it, whatever, to the tune of about $1,000. So, oh boy. Um, anyway, I don't know how that happened, but it happened, whatever. So anyway, so I was like, well, I guess I will go ahead and top off the travel fund then. So that's back now up to $2,000, even though I spent a bunch of money in Montreal. I spent 15.90 at a gift shop. And I'm trying to remember where that gift shop was. Oh, at an amusement park. I bought one of those little like I bought two magnets, I guess. Those like photo magnets that you can get when you ride a ride and like your face is like because you know you went yeah. I got two. I It was like a dollar more to get two instead of one, so I bought the two and I gave one to my niece so she could remember her time. And it was her first time on a roller coaster, like first time riding coasters. Yeah. So I was like, "Ugh, I got to do something to commemorate you riding a coaster now." Sheets. I got gas at Sheets for $42.84. I put $500 into my emergency fund. That was pretty much just leftover money, I think, after the first pay. And once everything got paid out, it was like, well, shipping 500 over. Court funds, some more income. Yay, $29. I served on jury duty and they used to actually write you a check because I remember one time getting a check. But I it's not up here. Now you get like a little debit card and they load the money on there after a certain point. So they put that on. It was $29. Haven't spent it yet. I'll have to spend it on something. I don't know. It almost immediately starts like they take a little bit out, a little fee every month that you don't use it or whatever. So I'm gonna figure out some place to spend it. I went to Wise's, which is a grocery store, $31.85. I spent $76.18 at a restaurant called Angry Goat. So boom, killed my restaurant budget in one trip. But you know what? Worth it. I treated my mom because my mom actually treated me and Rosie to my niece to Chinese. We went to Chinese buffet and had a good time, had a great time. My mom treated me and my friend and her two daughters that my niece had been hanging out with. So I was like, Mom, you just paid for dinner for everyone. Like, I will get dinner tonight. So yeah, did that. Angry Goat was in like Du Bois, which is like kind of a meeting place where we normally swap with my niece, and or swap my niece back and forth between me and her mother. And it was amazing. It was so good. It was so worth the $76. Like a lot of times anymore, you walk away from a restaurant and you're like, that was a lot of money to spend on like a meal. That was an amazing meal. And there was enough food. I got two meals out of it. And my mother also got two meals out of her food. So winner. 16.10 at Wendy's. That was actually the day before. I was honestly really hungry. My niece was really hungry. We both ate at Wendy's on our way to my friend's river lot. Sunoco, went to get gas at Sunoco, 47.58. I got dividends from my high yield savings account. Hello. 55.68. So that's really great. I got like $2 and something in June as I was like busy moving money over. And then yeah, that one came out on the 13th. That's really exciting. It's amazingly exciting. I think that's more dividends than I got in the entire year in my bank account in just 1 month. So I'm really kicking myself hardcore for not doing this sooner. Like, I know I needed to. It has been like on my, yep, I'll do that. Yep, I'll do that. And I even have a friend who has a high yield savings account who's been hounding me for probably 2 years to do it. And I've been like, yeah, I know, I know, I know. Yeah. So I text her about it and I text her about how much I made. And I was like, I am kicking myself so hard for not doing this sooner. And then I kind of followed up with the like, Yeah, I know. I know you've been telling me, right? So it's even worse. Like, it's not even like I didn't know and I just didn't know and I just didn't get whatever. Not only did I know, but I had a friend who was like, "I will walk you through how to do it." So just no excuse. And yeah, kicking myself. 83.36, that's what I had to pay for my escrow shortage. Personal taxes, we always have to pay personal taxes in the borough that I live in. It's $24 and 1 penny. I really would like to understand the penny. It's a flat rate, like that's what everybody pays. Why is it not just $24? And or make it $25? Like it is such a random number. I don't get it, but it's been that way since I've lived here, which is like probably going on 8 years now, 9 years. Okay, so I put $135.65 into my emergency fund. And then I actually took $1,000 from I added it. Oh, actually, never mind. I think this is where I found the random extra $1,000. So, I decided to put it into a CD to kind of try out what that would look like in the future. Mostly because I'm trying to help my mom out because I think we're going to do kind of like a CD or a T-bill ladder or something like that with some of her money in cash so it's just not like sitting there randomly. But I wanted to kind of test it out first and see like what it was like and what she had to do, what she had to think about before like trying to get her into it. Although that said, I was talking to my aunt about it, her sister, about like what I was trying to get my mother to do and all this stuff and she went, that's an excellent idea to do with this money. And here she had money sitting and I don't know how much, we'll say it was like $50,000. It's just sitting in the bank in her money market account or just the bank or whatever and like not really earning all that much interest. And she was like, "Holy crap, like I don't need that money anytime soon. I can, you know, do that." So she called up the bank that she goes to, what's a credit union, and was like, "Hey, what's available?" And then like went in, signed the paperwork, boom, she did it, and then told my mom about it. So now my mom's like, "Oh, well, if my sister did it, now I'm comfortable doing it." Anyway, I'm glad to do it for me. I'm glad to have tested it out to kind of see what to experience and what to expect. So I put the $1,000 in there. It's just sitting in a CD. It'll mature in it's a 9-month CD. Um, I wanted to do the 6 month, but the 6 month wasn't really, it was like less than what I would earn in my high yield savings account. So I was like, that doesn't really seem worth it. Um, a year felt like too long to just test it out and then get her to do it. So I went with the 9 months, but moot point anyway, because she's doing it now anyway. I spent $36.38 at the farm market, and which is just getting groceries. I don't really want to give the name of it because I think it gives away my location a little bit too close. So it is a specific place, but I just call it the farm market. I spent $17.83 at Wise's, $11 of which were 9-volt batteries for my smoke detector. It's a smoke slash carbon monoxide detector, and the battery was dead. So and then after all that, I went to replace it and I realized it might actually not be the battery, but like the thing that holds the battery in place is really like janky. So the issue could be that like the battery itself just isn't connected. And so I had to get a new one anyway. So, oh well. Went to Sheets for more gas, $41.47. Went to Lowe's to get my new smoke detector. That was actually yesterday. So that's technically out of these first 3 weeks, but I'm adding it anyway. I'm not sure there's going to be that many more expenses. I'm going to get gas. And I might be going to Sheets and getting a sandwich because I think I'm going to go backpacking before the month is out. And I might be able to just kind of do like a no cook situation because it's going to just be a quick overnight. So yeah, if that's the case, I will be going to Sheets and buying a sandwich. But other than that, probably won't be spending too much more the rest of the month except to buy gas. So that's pretty cool. I can live with that for sure. For sure. Hi. Okay, so that's my expenses for at least the first 3 weeks. Like I said, I usually do this weekly, and I actually did track them weekly. I just didn't do the videos. And I do it because it helps me keep on top of what I'm spending when I'm spending it, right? Times when I would let it get away from me and I wouldn't even do the tracking, I found I was way overspending in categories. So I really try to stick to it. I try to do it at least weekly. I end up going in every couple of days and just adding things. Um, and yeah, it can get tedious to come in here and do this manually. I know a lot of people will do stuff by like they'll just check, their bank statements. They'll use something like a budgeting app or something like You Need a Budget or Every Dollar, which I've tried You Need a Budget, can't figure it out. It like my brain doesn't work that way. I used Every Dollar originally, wasn't great for me. It did a lot of things I liked, and then there were other things that I found were kind of hard to sort of allocate, right? Like if I put money in a sinking fund bucket, but then I spent it, like it's hard to track. So um I used it for like for the year that I had like the whole thing because of buying Financial Peace University. I don't know if that still happens, but back in the day, if you took Financial Peace University, you got the full like premium version of Every Dollar for a year. So, I liked what it could do, and then I didn't want to have to pay for it. And then found some folks that were doing Ramsey at the time. One of whom was Budget Girl, and she started just kind of making her own spreadsheet. And at one point, she had, I don't know if she still does, but at one point, she had a free one that you could just download. And so I was using that for a while, and that really served me. But there were some other things I wanted to be able to do. So I started just kind of making my own. At that point, I was watching like so many other financial people. And so I would see like how people were, setting up their budgets if they were using a spreadsheet. And I was like, I can do that. So yeah, I just basically kind of have been building out from there, and creating my own. And I like it. Like, yes, it is tedious to enter them. Absolutely. But I really like having to do it, and I do it manually. It really keeps my finances in the forefront of my mind. And that's kind of where I need them to be. So that works for me. That wouldn't necessarily work for everybody. Some people are just like, you know what? I don't even want to think about all those things. Like, I just want to know at the end of the month or whatever. Everybody's got to find, their own way through. So is what it is. Anyway, comment down below. Let me know. How do you keep track? Do you use a spreadsheet like this? Do you just kind of check, periodically? Do you total up and match up, or do you use like an app or something like that that lets how much you've spent in your specific categories and things like that? Like I said, comment below. Let me know. Talk to you later, guys. Bye.